Next to me, almost as bright as my sunglasses, is the Fiat 600. And I drove this car about a year ago already for the Dutch channel, but that was the full EV. This though is the hybrid version. So when Stellantis said they had this available in the press pool, I said, yes, I would love to try that out and see what the differences are. My name is Peter, this is an Autogefuel video, and I have my sunglasses on, as you can see. Very impersonal, I know, but it is very bright out, so I can make the video like this. Or keep the sunglasses on, which I think is a bit nicer for you to look at. And the star of the show is of course the car. Now this hybrid drivetrain is a familiar drivetrain from Stellantis. So it's a 140 horsepower version, 30 horsepower of electric in the gearbox and a 1.2 three-cylinder petrol engine up front, combined for maximum efficiency. And that's of course what you want if you buy a hybrid. Now we know this powertrain from cars like the Jeep Avenger, the Alpha Junior for example, and the platform as it sits here is also shared with those cars. But as they do within the Stellantis group, they do put their own character on top. So with the styling, with the things inside, it has to be a real Fiat. So in this video we're going to have a look around, walk around the car, see what makes it a real Fiat, and of course we're going to go for a drive to see which one is actually better, this one or the electric version. Now walking around the car, starting here at the front, there's no Fiat logo or anything, just 600 up here. So for the people that don't know what it is, they think you're driving a 600, which it is, but it is unmistakably Fiat in my eyes, especially because, speaking of eyes, this eye design here of the headlight unit and then the daytime running lights and the blinkers over there, very typical. If you've seen a modern Fiat, you instantly recognize this. And in many ways, of course, this is a slightly pumped up version of the Fiat 500. Because this is the hybrid, there is actually some opening here for cooling of the engine. So, you know, that is a consequence of the powertrain. And of course, in this bright color, it looks extra spectacular. I think all around it's a design that really works. It's a bit of a design that makes you smile, and I think that's nice. What's also nice is this two-tone color combination with the bright and then the black on top. I think that has worked out really well. I could imagine myself speccing it like this, especially with these 18-inch black wheels that actually do say Fiat on them. But I think it's a good-looking vehicle, and despite the fact that they've done the trick with the wheel arches that a lot of manufacturers do, I think it worked out really well. There is a lot of good news. First of all, everything is manually operated. No touchy swipey apart from the central screen, of course, but everything has buttons. The windows, the steering wheel, the klima, the gear selector, everything is buttons. I'm a big fan. Very, very good. The second thing is that there's no piano black in here. And I repeat, there is no piano black in here. Nothing that you're touching or interacting with will permanently be smudgy because they have not made the mistake of making everything shiny black plastic. There is a tiny circle here around the Fiat 600 logo, which is not an issue, and a little strip around the buttons of the steering wheel, and I can forgive them for that. The front of the pedals, by the way, is also shiny, but the rear is matte black plastic, so that is also good. So I am happy already. If we do the regular cockpit swipe here on the left, we start with buttons for the windows and a little pad for your mirrors, so that is excellent. But the plastics in here are a bit hard and scratchy at times. So, you know, over here on the dash, yeah, you know, that is something you're gonna have to live with at this price point. But for me, it has not been an issue in the time that I've had this car. This car also keeps things simple with a normal door pull, a normal door handle. Things that just make sense and that everybody knows how to use, which is nice. The steering wheel itself is pretty much round with a slightly flat bottom, so that's also good in my book. We got my cruise control settings on the left and all your system, volume and media on the right. And the pedals here are to change gear, if you want to do that yourself for some reason. I don't really know why. And then behind those, there's two stalks for your wipers on the right and your lights and your indicators on the left. So that is good too. On the wiper stalk, there is a button where you can change a few things in the screen in front of you, but that's mainly things like your trip computer and so on. To cover that right away, 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers on average the past 172 kilometers. And that's a lot of city driving, a little bit of highway, but we'll get to that more in detail later. The screen itself is about this size, so, you know, nothing to write home about, but all my basic information is there. RPM, cruise control, speed, engine temperature, and of course fuel gauge. So, you know, everything you really need, and all the warning lights and stuff are on the left side of the screen. The central screen is the same screen that we know from other Stellantis products. Nothing to really write home about or something that will blow you away in terms of features or speed, but it works just fine. So navigation is here. I have a button down here to go back to the home page. Phone is here, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, everything you want to use, which I think in this kind of car, it's nice that they haven't gone for the full iPad on the screen. It's not necessary. Most people in these kind of cars either have their phone stuck to the window or connect Android Auto right away. So I think it's fine, it works for the car. 4 buttons underneath for home, driving aids, lock the car and hazard lights. Especially the driving aid button is nice, that with one touch you can go to that page where you can turn your lane keep assist and your speed warnings off if you so desire. Somebody actually mentioned in the comments the other day, it's like, why would you turn that off? It's for your safety. Yes, in theory I agree, but I find these systems so invasive that they distract me more than that they help me. And that is not good, obviously. Especially, you know, sometimes the speed that you're allowed to go on a certain road is not sufficient for something that you must do in order to make a safer traffic situation. And then it's annoying that things start beeping right away. And that's even before you get to the lane keep assist. I can stay within the lines myself. I don't need a computer to do that for me. And I certainly don't need a computer to, every time I get too close to the line, start pulling on the steering wheel, because that is just annoying. So that's why. Anyway, those buttons are handy. Very handy are the buttons down here for the Klima. So all your temperature up and down, airspeed up and down, demisting, circulation, all those things are there. Fantastic. That is, everybody can copy this, everybody can put this in their car regardless of the price point. This is how we want it. Great. A little storage cubby here that would fit a phone, but I have my garage clicker there. And then the buttons for the P, R, N, and D. Those I find a bit cumbersome because they're a bit far away. It's an unnatural spot for the gear selector to be. I would rather have seen the standard Stellantis gear selector here in the middle. There is a cover here that says 600 red that reveals quite a deep cubby. For your phone, there's a wireless charger in there, and it's, you know, just general storage. So, you know, you can do that there. Then we have the parking brake, cup holders here, and a slidable armrest that cannot open. And that is the cockpit for you. The seats are actually also pretty good. I can fit in them, as you can see, so that's a very good start for me. The driver's seat has electric adjustable angles and seat and lumbar support, so that is also great. And I have a massage function here even. All those things are missing from the passenger side though, so it's all manually operated there and no massaging or anything going on. So the driver gets all the luxury. It is not the brightest cabin, obviously thanks to the color choices, but also because there's no panoramic roof option. But I do have a good view around. The side mirrors are fine. The car's not very big, obviously. But it's nice to see past the car and also see where the car ends. The rear window is also nice. It's upright and quite clear to see where the car ends, with a wiper as well. So no nonsense that you have to turn up the temperature in order to get the droplets off your window. Just works. And here sitting, obviously, again, because the car is not so big, I have a good view towards the corners of the car. So all is well there. Nothing really to complain in here. I mean, you can be very mad about the plastics or something, but I think in general it's an ergonomic cabin that works, that's simplistic enough for the price point, but still feels well put together. And it's easy to work. Anybody that has ever driven a car can get in here and immediately know how everything works. And that is a good accomplishment. Now, this car is just under 4.20 meters long, so it's not a huge vehicle. And that is, of course, most noticeable here in the rear. You can see that there is not that much space back here. Recently, we also drove the Fiat Grande Panda, which is even shorter than this one. Back there was zero space for me. That was not an option at all. But with 1.83 meters and 100 plus kilos, I will also spare you watching me climb into the rear seats here. Rest assured that for a very short drive, it is technically all possible, thanks to the soft seat back and this sort of shape in the seat. It gives you a bit more room for your knees, but obviously not for tall adults back here. And even my 12-year-old is already borderline not fitting back here. Close that one up. Another consequence of the hybrid powertrain is the fact that you don't have a charging port back here, but a simple fuel filler cap. And so here is where you fill up at any random petrol station. So that's good, and that's especially good because a car this size obviously does not have a huge boot, but it is electric here, which is a nice luxury. And as you can see, this is certainly not a car you're going to use to move house, and you don't have to put any charging cables back here, so that is also nice. But it is certainly enough for a weekend away with the family, if you so desire, if you don't go too far. So that is perfectly usable and perfectly reasonable as far as I'm concerned. Now, closing that back up, we do have a Fiat logo back here, which is nice in case people don't know what you're driving. The rear window is also nice and upright with an actual wiper, so that is excellent. And in case people are wondering what type of car you're driving, another 600 branding back here. And they can also immediately see that you're driving the hybrid version because you have a nice exhaust here and it actually says hybrid up there. Now, I think all around the design has worked really well. It is a bit of a pumped up Fiat 500, but you know, why mess with something that clearly works? It's a design with a bit of a wink and a design that makes you smile. And every time I walked up to this car in the past week, I was like, oh yeah, ha, nice. Especially with this color scheme and sort of the playful design. I quite like it. I think it's well done by Fiat. Obviously, a little bit of driving in this Fiat 600 as well. It is a unsurprising experience, I have to say, because obviously we know this drivetrain from other Stellantis products and we know the Fiat 600 as a car as well. And if you add those two things up, you get exactly what you expect. So it's a happy car in and around town. It's nice and small, easy to park, easy to get around. And it's an interesting sort of mix. Like, it's bigger than a Toyota Aygo, for example. That is, you know, even more easy to park, more easy to maneuver and so on. But you do have a little bit more practicality with a slightly bigger vehicle. So you can just fit more people and stuff inside. That said, the rear is definitely not for adults, like I showed you, and even my 12-year-old son, moi, preferably not. So, you know, you do have to take the extra space with a grain of salt. This is a perfect car for people without kids already, and maybe with a first kid on the way, because as soon as you got to put car seats and everything back there, it does get quite cramped quite quickly. But you do have a bit more practicality, so you have a few more options in general. Now, back to the driving experience in and around town. Like I said, fantastic, easy over bumps, light steering, easy to maneuver and park. So that is, I think, exactly what you want from this kind of car. The gearbox is the big shortcoming because it is slow. Every time you doing, let's say, semi-low speed and you want some performance, the gearbox has to think quite a bit, goes back and forward between gears a bit. It's not the most refined experience, so to speak. It works, it gets there, it gets the job done in the end, but if you want that sort of pleasant acceleration, instant torque and so on, then obviously the full electric version of this car is the better option. But the full electric version does require you to charge the car, think about charging, to carry a cable with you at all times, all those things. And if you are not willing or not able to do that, then this hybrid is certainly a good option. Because it is a very carefree driving experience. I've said it before, in simple, low-powered hybrid cars like this, it's just so easy. You can get gas anywhere, even though the gas prices these days are quite scary. But you don't have to mess around with charging. You don't have to think about route planning. You can just go, see at your fuel gauge whenever you need to fill up, and that's it. And the car does return good numbers, because if I look at my trip computer here, we're looking at under 7 liters per 100 kilometers combined usage. So that's city driving, highway driving, filming on and off the highway, everything. So that's quite nice. And now we're doing a bit of a longer highway drive. We're reaching, you know, towards the 5 liters per 100 kilometers. And not that long ago, that was diesel territory only. So that's nice. And I think that's exactly why you buy this hybrid, because it's a carefree driving experience without thinking, and really without that many compromises either, despite the high fuel prices. So that's nice. The power, obviously less than 150 horsepower is nothing to write home about. This is not a fast car by any stretches of the imagination. I wouldn't go as far as to call it slow, but it is not fast at all. It's fine with normal traffic in and around town. No issues there, obviously, because horsepower doesn't really matter in the city. But here on the highway, yeah, you're not going to be placing, you know, sharp overtakes right before the exit or any of that nonsense. This is not what the car is for, and the power is just not there. Simple. So if you have the right expectations about a vehicle like this, nice, happy transportation with a very pleasant interior, real buttons for your klima, I think, you know, this car delivers on all those things. If you like the styling, I can totally imagine you like the sort of different look that Fiat has. If you like cars like the Fiat 500 already, for example, then you're gonna like this too. It's very Fiat, very recognizable, and gives you that, you know, a little bit of a smile factor. I think that is important with cars like this. So that's nice, and I think if you like that kind of styling, then this can certainly be the vehicle for you. Something that annoyed me quite a bit in the interior here was, first of all, the buttons. I don't like that. It's counterintuitive for me for some reason to have to press a button to select my driving direction. I rather have the little gear stick here from Stellantis. And there is a cup holder here in the middle that is constantly rattling. So that is actually quite irritating. They could have put a €2 bit of rubber in there to make that a bit more sophisticated, because that annoys me, completely annoys me. But other than that, the cover, the buttons, the rest of the interior, you know, despite the sometimes slightly harsh plastics, totally fine. I quite like it. It's a good place to be, and it's happy motoring all around. So that is exactly what you could buy this car for, I think. And that's all I got for you in this video. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. A sub to the channel, of course, is always appreciated. And there's a lot more videos coming this summer. So if you don't want to miss any of those, please subscribe. If you have any suggestions for other cars we should drive, I'm always happy to hear those as well, because then we can make those things happen with the importers and the dealers here in the Netherlands. For now though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!